As President Trump and his team prepare for their brutal swing through Asia in a meeting with President Xi, China's decided to try to up the ante by bullying companies planning on doing big investments in the United States. Trump's trade rep, who's headed to Asia tomorrow, responded this way. Attempts at intimidation will not stop the United States from rebuilding its shipbuilding base and responding appropriately to China's targeting of critical industrial sectors for dominance. Well, for his part, President Trump seemed eager to smooth things out today.
I expect to be able to make a good deal with him, and I want him to make a good deal for China, but it's got to be fair. For years, they were making $500, $600, $700 billion, $700 billion, and we'd be making nothing. It was a one-sided. Honestly, we built their military. We built China's military with the money that we lost for so many years.
He's right about that. Here to discuss right before he leaves, and he's all packed, Jamison Greer, U.S. Trade Rep. Mr. Ambassador, great to see you. Thank you for joining us. It's going to be a brutal trip for you. China seemed very threatened by this move of Trump's to rebuild U.S. shipbuilding, specifically China targeting Hanwha, the Korean shipbuilding company that's going to put a big investment in the United States. What next here?
Well, I mean, listen, early on in the administration, the president was very clear that he wanted to rebuild American shipping and that we need to have some portion of the global market. And that's why the president's doing everything he does. He's not trying to antagonize any country or hurt anybody. He's trying to put America first. And so it's just unconscionable that China thinks that if someone's going to come here to America and help rebuild shipping, they're going to take a sanction against them. Will
this Korean company back down at all?
So I don't think so. They're invested here. They've already invested in our shipyard in Philadelphia. They've already taken orders for ships, for LNG carriers, the kind of stuff we should be exporting. So I'm not worried about that.
We got a lot of catch up to do in the shipbuilding, do we not? I mean, we've kind of lost our dominance in that. And also the U.S. and Australia, it was a big deal this week signing this rare earths agreement just yesterday after China announced that rare earths export control. And in a statement, the Chinese embassy denied that it was to blame for any rare earth disruption in the global marketplace, saying that the global industrial supply chains came into shape as a result of the choices of the market and businesses. Countries with mineral resources need to play a positive role in keeping relevant industrial and supply chains safe and stable and to ensure normal trade and economic cooperation. How do you deal with these people? They put the export controls in place, and now they're essentially blaming the United States.
Right. And this is technology with respect to the rare earth. It's technology that the U.S. invented and pioneered 60 years ago. And China was able to have some of that transfer of technology, which was a mistake, turns out. And so it's completely normal for us, obviously, in the face of Chinese export controls, to diversify and develop other sources. And so, again, we get these word salads coming out of Beijing of trying to justify what they've done. No one's fooled. Everybody knows. It's not just the U.S., it's the EU, it's Japan, it's Australia. Everyone is sick of it.
So you're going ahead before the president arrives in these countries. How have your meetings gone thus far with your Chinese counterparts?
Well, I will say they are certainly cordial. Every time we show up and they show up, there's interest in trying to be constructive.
But there was one guy at the WTO who Scott Bessent said was the troublemaker, and I heard that he's out in China.
Well, he was at the WTO, then he was a vice minister. Yeah. I think he's still on the team. But our focus is trying to do what's right for America. This is not an issue where we're trying to hurt China or make them lose. I mean, that's just not what we're doing. Like, the Chinese motivations, obviously, are totally different.
Well, isn't there motivation, speaking of that, isn't there motivation global dominance in every key industrial sector? That was the whole point of the Belt and Road Initiative, was it not? So this idea that, if China rises, everybody rises, this rare earth move on their part shows that's not the case.
That's right. And it's no secret, right? They've published these plans with the Belt and Road, also made in China 2025. They've been telegraphing for years. And to be honest, American policymakers are partially at fault. But fundamentally, the Chinese have said for a long time they've telegraphed exactly what they're going to do. And it's up to the president and frankly, a lot of our allies, if they have the spine for it, to stand up to this and to make sure that we can be independent with respect to these critical sectors.
They're flooding Europe and other economic sectors with their excess capacity. They have so many factories humming, so much being produced in these factories, but now not as much being bought here in the United States, which is the biggest marketplace. Europe seems to now be saying, whoa, we got to take measures here because it's destroying European businesses. Is Germany finally waking up to what's about to happen or what is happening to their auto industry?
So I think so. Like, for example, with steel, as you know, we've taken measures on imported steel and have for many years. The Europeans finally are doing that. The Canadians are doing that. We're seeing the Mexicans doing that. We saw the Europeans announce about 20 anti-dumping cases against Chinese imports.
Dumping excess capacity below market value.
Yes, that's exactly right. So we see them starting to do this. You know, it's always been the case that America has to take the first step. We have a bias for action, and then eventually the others come along when they see it affecting them.
Is there a possibility that we have no deal out of this trip? Because I prefer no deal. I think they're being hurt now, and I'm sorry, but I think the only way China changes is if they suffer economically, just like the former Soviet Union. So why do we need a deal if the tariffs are working so well?
Well, if there's a deal to be had, the president will find it, to be sure. Do we have to have a deal? It has to be a fair deal, right? Is there a landing zone with China? I mean, notionally, yes, but it has to be fair, which is what the president said. And if there's not a fair deal, then there's not a deal.
Mr. Ambassador, good luck on this trip. We'll be covering it day by day, and it'll be the middle of the night.
I said, if I do this again, I'm going to get a ballroom built, and we're putting up our own money. With the government is paying for nothing. You probably hear the beautiful sound of construction to the back. You hear that sound? Oh, that's music to my ears. I love that sound. Other people don't like it. I love it.
So President Trump sounding off as demolition begins on the East Wing of the White House to make way for his new $250 million ballroom. Not everyone is a fan. The View was breaking out into protest song.
You don't own it. You cannot take it down. You don't own it. Tacky, gaudy, nasty ballroom.
He's pooping on the American people, literally.
But to take literally a wrecking ball to the White House, it's grotesque. It's just grotesque. Yeah, far different. Yeah,
painful. I mean, this is historic structure.
It's history being torn to shreds.
I mean, there's so much beauty and history in the East Wing, so it's sad to see that, you know, that huge hole there.
Caroline Levitt had a post about Teddy Roosevelt building the West Wing, Taft making the executive office into the Oval. You can make improvements. I'm a traditionalist. I love tradition, but I do think you can make improvements along the way. And to have a ballroom wouldn't be a terrible thing. Plus, taxpayers are not paying for it.
That is so true. And remember, Nixon added a bowling alley, and Bill Clinton put mirrors above the beds. I understand Morning Joe upset. Mika knows a bad facelift when she sees one. Look. Dems don't understand Trump. Goes back to what he said when I work my ass off. He does multiple things every day. That's what he's done all his life. Democrats will say, how can you work on this redesign when we have a war in the Middle East? He says, I'm actually working on the Middle East, too. I'm also dealing with Putin and Zelensky. I got the border over here. Democrats don't understand that you can do different things at once. They can only do one thing, and that one thing is have a conversation. And then they pretend that the conversation is action. Oh, we'll talk about that. Let's talk about it. That's why nothing got done. That's why no kings. Everybody's freaking out because they're not used to seeing action. In your face, Jessica, preemptively.
Jesse, if every single Trump action is the end of the world and the end of history and the end of the country, then really nothing is.
Yeah, I wouldn't make a big deal out of this. Gavin can hold a little ball in there, or whoever the next Democrat president is. The Democrats are upset because Trump is so unconstrained, and he's so ambitious, and he's wielding executive power so confidently. And none of their presidents ever did. And nothing they can do can check his power. They feel like they've squandered the opportunity in the executive office to do grand things, to make peace deals, to redo the World Trade Order. And they're looking at a guy who they thought was just like a pockmark in history, come back and be a consequential president. And he's so consequential He's leaving a symbolic and physical legacy right there on the footprint of the most hallowed grounds in Washington, D.C., and they can't wrap their head around it.
I was thinking, Jessica, that like for me, when I first saw the picture, I was like, oh, I love that. That's such a beautiful spot. But then I realized, one, that there can be progress, but two, for him, a site like that is like, oh, yeah, here we go. Because he's a real estate developer. And for other people, we're like, oh, my gosh, it looks horrible.
He was definitely excited by it, though there was some reporting that White House aides did know that the optics of this was really bad, especially because he had said that what he was planning pays total respect to the existing building, which I'm the biggest fan of. That doesn't really look like total respect to the existing building. So I don't know if his construction crew got a little ahead of themselves.
That's what you do.
Wait, Jessica, he's working with the White House Historical Preservation Society.
Yeah.
He's not coming in and bombing the place and putting up the Obama Presidential Library, which is ghastly.
Listen.
Have you seen that thing? It's a monstrosity.
Okay,
at least Trump has taste.
And come on, listen. I understand that Mar-a-Lago is allegedly the height of style and panache and glitz and glam, but he turned the Rose Garden into a patio that looks like you should have chicken tenders and fries on it.
Have you been there?
And now I can see.
No, but
I
you've
have
never
not
been there, so you have no idea.
Okay.
When I'm president, I'll have
What's wrong with chicken tenders?
I enjoy chicken tenders. I have a 3-year-old. I'm just saying that the Rose Garden looked better before, and should we have a bigger ballroom? Maybe, but he wasn't supposed to do this, and he said that he wouldn't. But the big problem is that it's being funded by Donald Trump and also donors, some of the names we know, some which we don't. And Donald Trump has been profiting off of the presidency, left, right, and center. His kids do it too, with these deals all over the world.
How's he profiting from that?
Well, he's gotten,
it's for the White House.
He is. You don't know what kind of influence he's selling by having people come there. That's what happens at Mar-a-Lago, too. It happened at Trump International.
So he should have taxpayers pay for it.
Yes. The crypto... No, he shouldn't do it. Or
then he can't do it. Just say he doesn't. Just say you don't want it.
You don't like it no matter what he does, Jessica.
Maybe they should just show Dancing with the Stars in the family theater.
That is, they should do Dancing with the Stars in the big, beautiful ballroom. That is a great idea.
Thank you.
I think what you're trying to say, Jessica, is thank you, Trump, for saving all this taxpayer dollars and creating a large space where we can hold huge meetings.
You could just
picture evidence. 1902, Theodore Roosevelt constructing the West Wing doesn't look too great. 1934, FDR added a second floor. Basement also doesn't look too great. 1948, Truman changed the foundation. Also doesn't look good. There's another bad one.
There was a fire, too, at some point.
We have Nixon. You're showing them. 1970, Nixon changed the pool to the press room. And then 1975, Ford built an outdoor swimming pool. These look horrendous, but the end result was a beautiful White House. So we can say thank you, Donald Trump, for following in the footsteps of predecessors.
Is that why they call it the press pool?
Yeah, the press pool. There. Oh, Dana, that's a good historical fact. Is it?
Is that true? Did I just make that up?
No. I want to check. I mean,
wait, that's brilliant.
That, but it's a pool of people, so I don't know.
And the pool used to be where
ever signed the pool?
I never understood why they called it the spray.
Pool spray?
Yes.
That was
the
a Bill
spray.
It's a spray of.
That was a Bill Clinton term.
Oh, Kaylee. Oh, going blue.
Wow, what has happened
blue.
to me and Kaylee tonight?
Yikes.